in the cleaning up campaign last week. In every corner of our country, people also engaged in various forms of community work, which should inculcate a culture of service to our country and to humanity. Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, we have completed the transition to the fifth administration seamlessly, following successful national general elections which further consolidated our country's democracy. It is an honor for the ANC government to continue to lead the country towards a creation of a truly united, democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous South Africa. Honorable Deputy Speaker, during the past few days, government departments have outlined plans to further expand access to various socio-economic services and programs informed by the ANC Manifesto and the National Development Plan. Collectively, the budget vote expressions indicated a government that is actively at work to promote an improved quality of life for all. We'll continue to prioritize key areas this term: education, health, rural development, and land reform, the fight against crime and corruption, as well as creating decent work. In doing so, we are informed by the successes scored in these 5 priorities over the past 5 years. In the State of the Nation address last month, we also outlined primary focus areas for government, which included measures towards achieving a 5% growth rate by the year 2019. These focus areas include, among others, infrastructure development, energy, manufacturing, and mining. Progress is being made in these areas and many others. Various interventions aimed at supporting distressed mining towns are being implemented by various departments, following the announcement last month in the State of the Nation address. Our investment in infrastructure development is also continuing under the leadership of the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Commission, chaired by the President. The PICC bring together ministers, premiers, and mayors to enable central coordination and the fast-tracking of project delivery. An advantage of central coordination is that we are also able to integrate the build programs. For an example, the recently launched Mzimvubu Dam water scheme in the Eastern Cape integrates water and electricity provision with the building of roads, sanitation, schools, houses, and health facilities. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we announced our plans for a heightened energy generation capacity last month. The Energy Security Cabinet Subcommittee that will oversee the development of the energy mix shall comprise the following ministers: Minister of Energy, International Relations and Cooperation, Public Enterprises, Finance, State Security, Trade and Industry, Economic Development, Mineral Resources and Environmental Affairs, and Defense. They will explore various options, including nuclear power, gas, solar, wind, coal, hydropower, and fuel refineries. Honorable members, our cooperative governance framework provides for the existence of the President's Coordinating Council, a mechanism that brings together the Presidency, cross-cutting ministers, premiers, and the South African Local Government Association to discuss issues affecting the three spheres of government. We wanted to improve the performance and output of PCC, and in particular, utilize the structure more effectively to build and support the local government sphere. Honorable members, the journey towards prosperity and job-creating growth involves radical change in the manner in which we undertake planning, implementation, and monitoring. On Saturday, the 19th of July, we launched Operation Phakisa, an innovative program that brings together, for the first time, many stakeholders to plan a major economic project. Operation Phakisa, an adaptation of Malaysia's Big Fast Results methodology, will be used to fast-track service delivery in various sectors, starting with the ocean economy. Teams from government, business, labor, and academia are working in Durban, discussing plans of unlocking the economic potential of the oceans, which are poised to contribute up to 177 billion rand to the country's GDP. The teams are focusing on 4 priority areas or priority sectors. The first is marine transport and manufacturing activities. such as coastal shipping, transshipment, boat building, repair, and refurbishment. The other three are offshore oil and gas exploration, aquaculture, as well as marine protection services and ocean governance. We'll release the outcome of the exercise later this year once the teams have concluded their work and have produced implementable action plans. Together, we are moving South Africa forward practically, not just in words. Honorable members, to achieve the goals of a better society, we need a professional, people-centered, effective, efficient, and disciplined public service. Through the Department of Planning, Monitoring, and Evaluation, we will keep track of progress made by departments in improving government performance and also in promoting caring and responsive governance. Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa and I have been meeting with ministers, deputy ministers, and their directors general to discuss the priorities and action plans of each department. The exercise will culminate in the signing of performance agreements by the President and each minister. The ministers will in turn conclude delivery agreements with partners who will work with them to achieve their goals. These partners will include colleagues in the provincial executive councils. Beyond the major projects and work of departments, we will also monitor the human aspect. We will assess the manner in which inquiries and complaints from the public are handled, the courtesy and friendliness of staff, and the speed with which members of the public are attended to. In this regard, the Batupili Citizen Care Program is being revitalized and will be mainstreamed in every department in order to improve performance and services to the public. The performance of the presidential hotline and the other call centers serving the public in various departments will continue to be useful barometers of how government relates to the public. A new priority this term, as we continue to build a participatory and responsive state, is the mainstreaming of communication in the work of government departments. We have established an interministerial committee on information and publicity led by the minister in the Presidency for planning, monitoring, and evaluation. The committee will promote and coordinate communication and marketing within government. The Presidency will also lead government in the program of Izimbizo, door-to-door campaigns, and other mass-based platforms to promote two-way communication with the people. We'll also continue with hands-on monitoring through the Presidential Siyahlola monitoring program, through which the President visits communities for a direct assessment of service delivery. The Deputy President will undertake the monitoring work through the anti-poverty program, which assists to promote food security and draw attention to problem areas. Honorable Deputy Speaker, our public servants are our most important resource in meeting the delivery goals that will be outlined in the performance and delivery agreements. In the February 2013 State of the Nation address, I announced the establishment of the Public Service Remuneration Review Commission. The commission was formally appointed on 7 August 2013 with retired Chief Justice Sandile Ngobo as the chairperson. The commission has conducted preliminary consultations with various key stakeholders, such as labor unions, the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council, and its sectoral bargaining councils, ministers, and members of provincial executive councils. I've extended the term of the commission until April 2015 due to the enormity of its brief, which covers more than 1.3 million public servants and over 200 public entities. It was also necessary to provide an extension due to the delays caused by capacity constraints, the December holidays, and general elections. We urge stakeholders to support the Commission in its very important task. Honorable members, the Presidency is taking steps to institutionalize partnerships with various stakeholders through reconstituting the presidential working groups to promote partnerships for development and progress. The Presidential Business Working Group will bring together chairpersons and SEOs of major companies in South Africa, as well as key ministers in the economic sector, to discuss the performance of the economy. We will also establish a Presidential Small Business Working Group which will bring together organizations representing small business owners and government to chart a path for supporting small enterprises. The Labour Working Group will bring together leaders of major labor federations and key government leaders. The joint working group will bring together social partners represented at NEDLAC, business, labor, government, and the community sector to seek joint solutions to challenges facing all sectors. We have already placed some items on the agenda of this working group, such as the minimum wage proposal and the impact of strikes with a long duration. We will also institutionalize the presidential working groups on youth, women, and religious affairs. We are establishing a new presidential working group on disability, which will enable the presidency to champion and monitor the work of government, departments, and society in creating a better life for persons with disabilities. Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, we are also finalizing plans to launch a presidential working group on communication and the media, bringing together government and organizations from the community and commercial media sectors. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we stand to benefit immensely from the expertise of our scientists and academics and intellectuals in the new presidential working group on higher education and innovation. Finally, we will convene the International Economic Advisory Panel, which will comprise owners and leaders of major corporations in the world to share their ideas on promoting investments and economic growth. Our partnership with stakeholders to move South Africa forward will also be embodied in the work of the South African National AIDS Council, which is led by the Deputy President. SANAC will build on the successes scored by the country in the fight against HIV and AIDS in the past 5 years and enhance other areas such as prevention. The Deputy President will also lead us in coordinating and championing skills development. As the chairperson of the Human Resource Development Council, we also look forward to good working relations between executive and parliament. The Deputy President, as leader of government business in the National Assembly, will lead government in the interface with the legislature. Honorable members, we are encouraged by the overwhelming support of the National Development Plan in the previous Parliament. The Deputy President chairs the National Planning Commission and will assist us to take forward the good work done in this structure. Honorable Deputy Speaker, this is a special year in the country as we mark 60 years of the historic 1954 Women's Charter and 20 years of the Women's Charter for effective equality. We are mindful of these milestones as we take forward the mission of building a truly non-sexist society and to extend basic services to more women who suffer most from the persistent poverty, unemployment, and inequality. The minister in the presidency responsible for the women portfolio has been given a mandate to lead, champion, and monitor women's socio-economic development and empowerment rights and equality. The Department of Women will work closely with the Department of Planning, Monitoring, and Evaluation to keep track of the performance of government and society with regards to women's development. We'll also gain from the expertise of various non-governmental organizations working in this field. Honorable members, youth development is an important function within the presidency, falling under the planning, monitoring, and evaluation portfolio. Minister Khadebe, assisted by Deputy Minister Puti Manamela, will prioritize the tasks of mainstreaming youth development and empowerment. The responsibility of the Department of Planning, Monitoring, and Evaluation will go further than oversight over the National Youth Development Agency. It will include championing and monitoring youth development program performance across government. Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, will continue to lead the country's international relations program premised on building a better Africa and a more just world, and to promote mutually beneficial relations with various countries and regions of the world. We will contribute to building a stronger and more effective African Union so that it can drive the African agenda. Our participation in the work of the AU structures will continue this term. These include the African Peer Review Mechanism, the Pan-African Parliament, and the new Partnership for Africa's Development. During the past term, South Africa championed the continent's infrastructure build program, focusing on the North-South Road and Rail Development Corridor, a trade access corridor from Durban through Dar es Salaam to Cairo. Our participation in regional integration efforts will continue within the Southern African Development Community and the Southern African Customs Union. We also look forward to continued negotiations to establish a tripartite free trade area among the regional economic communities of the Common Market of East and Southern Africa, East African Community, and SADC. We are honored to serve in key structures of United Nations organization. Last year, South Africa began serving a 3-year term on the UN Economic and Social Council. Our priority is the articulation of the post-2015 UN Development Agenda. Our country was, in January this year, elected to the UN Human Rights Council until December 2016. This honor reaffirms South Africa's commitment to the achievement of human rights locally and worldwide. Honorable Deputy Speaker, our participation in the BRICS Forum continues to yield results. We attended the 6th BRICS Summit in Brazil last week. The groundbreaking establishment of the new development bank and contingent reserve arrangement were the highlights of the summit. This development represented a major advancement for BRICS and the developing world. We look forward to hosting the bank's Africa Regional Center in South Africa to be established concurrently with the headquarters in Shanghai in the People's Republic of China. We'll continue to participate in the India, Brazil, South Africa Dialogue Forum, called IPSA, in further pursuit of global political governance, reform, and to promote socio-economic cooperation among the 3 diverse democracies. We value our participation in the G20 and will continue to use South Africa's role to promote and strengthen the interests of Africa and of the South. We will also continue to strengthen relations with key regions of the world, such as Europe, North America, South America, and the Caribbean, the Middle East, Asia, and Australia. We look forward to the United States-Africa Leadership Summit that will take place in Washington, D.C. next month. The forum should open new opportunities, especially with regards to trade and investment relations between the United States and Africa. In further promoting partnerships for growth and development, the Global Smart Partnership Dialogue will be hosted in South Africa in October 2014. The dialogue serves as a platform for heads of state, business leaders, scientists, and academics to exchange ideas related to the role of science, technology, and innovation in boosting socio-economic transformation, development, and growth. We'll continue to participate in peacekeeping and peace making missions in the continent through the South African National Defence Force. Most importantly, we are honored to be requested by other nations to share our country's negotiations and peacekeeping expertise. In this regard, Deputy President Ramaphosa is South Africa's special envoy to South Sudan and Sri Lanka, assisting the two countries to overcome recent challenges. Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members of the House, like all peace-loving people the world over, we are shocked and dismayed by the violence and tragic loss of life in Gaza. We call on the Israeli government to stop its ground and air offensive, which continues to cause loss of life and devastating humanitarian crisis. We also call for an end to the firing of rockets on Israel's citizens by Hamas. We are also opposed to the veiled attempts by the Israeli government to use its onslaught on Gaza to undermine the unity government in Palestine. There will never be a military solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The only solution lies in serious and genuine negotiations involving all parties. South Africa joins the United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, in calling for an immediate ceasefire by all sides and a resumption of the flow of humanitarian aid to the suffering people of Gaza. We appeal to the Egyptian authorities to open their doors to the injured and affected people of Gaza. With electricity, fuel, and medical supplies running out in Gaza, the only lifeline for the people of Gaza is their brothers and sisters in Egypt. This is not the time to apportion blame, but to focus on the needy and dying, especially defenseless women and children. South Africa will work with her BRICS partners to develop a common position to this crisis. Honorable members, we have done well in consolidating democracy and building a new nation. However, we need to do much more work to build the soul of the nation, especially to promote unity, cohesion, and a common nationhood. Programs such as the promotion of the national flag and the preamble of the Constitution in our schools will assist in building a national identity among our children and the youth at an early age. We are currently also engaged in processing outstanding work from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to support the victims who were identified during that process as part of the post-apartheid healing process. In building our new nation, we also need to confront difficult issues, such as the demon of racism. We welcome the global campaign against racism in sport, which was launched this week. It is a reminder of the need to continue to promote the building of a truly non-racial society with zero tolerance for racism and prejudice. Honorable members, nation building must also involve working together to make our country safer for children. We were shocked and horrified by the manner in which our 4-year-old Tygreen Morris of Rika Park in Johannesburg was dragged under a hijacked runaway car until he died. No child should be subjected to such brutality. We extend our heartfelt condolences to the Morris family and to the community of Rika Park as a whole. On Tuesday, last week, the country had been shaken by the kidnapping of 6-year-old Mongezi Pike after he and his father, Mr. Aaron Pike, were hijacked in Bronkhorstspruit. His father was severely assaulted. We thank the police and the public for the swift work which led to Mongezi being found. We condemn all these cold-blooded criminal acts and appeal to our people to assist the police to bring the perpetrators to book. Honorable members, the Commonwealth Games begin today, and we wish all our athletes strength and victory. Let us stand fully behind the team. With our support, they will do well and make us proud. In September, the country will host the 4th International Karate Organization World Cup in Durban under the theme Self-Defense, Self-Discipline, and Crime Prevention. The Department of Sport and Recreation, Police, Social Development, as well as Planning, Monitoring, and Evaluation, which is responsible for youth development, will work together to ensure a successful Karate World Cup. Honorable members, special guests, our journey continues towards a truly united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous South Africa. We humbly invite South Africans to join us in building a South Africa in which all, especially the poor and the working class, will fully enjoy the fruits of freedom. the action of each South African counts as we move South Africa forward together. As Pixley Isaac stated in his 1911 article, The Native Union, and I quote, "Cooperation is the key and the watchword which opens the door, the everlasting door which leads into progress and all national success," unquote. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Deputy President, the two ministers in the Presidency, and the Deputy Minister for their support. I also appreciate the contribution and hard work of the Director General, advisors, senior management, and all staff in the Presidency. It is my privilege, Honorable Deputy Speaker, to commend Budget Vote 1 to the House. I thank you.
We've been watching President Jacob Zuma delivering the presidency's budget vote. President Zuma is expected to reply to the budget vote tomorrow afternoon, and we'll bring that to you live. For more on the debate on the president's address, watch SABC News this evening. From me and the team in Parliament, it's back to Johannesburg.